have a phone call.
All
We're
right.
so excited.
First
Yay.
U.S. Championship phone call.
All right. Yeah, hello.
Doing a great job as usual. Jennifer, love the blonde streak. Looking hot there.
Thank you. Where are you from?
I'm John Cordisco from upstate New York. My question was, since there was so much controversy in the FIDE candidates final and tiebreak system, what is the tiebreaks in the U.S. Women's and the U.S. Open Championship?
Thank you, Jack. A wonderful question. I'm very, very proud to say we play playoffs.
Thank goodness. Because especially in a round robin, it's very important, in my opinion, not to use math tie breaks unless you're really constrained by the scheduling of the tournament.
Exactly.
Sometimes you really have very few choices. Even then, I prefer some kind of Armageddon, 15-minute, anything, because it's a round robin. You all play the same players, especially in the candidates. It's even worse because you don't even have different colors.
Exactly. It's a double round robin. I mean, you know, I can believe the head-to-head matchup in the candidates as being the first tiebreaker. That makes a little sense to me. Thereafter, playoff.
Yes, exactly. I don't even think the head-to-head, but I like the playoff. Of course, I felt a little bit more strongly about it because it was our guy.
Oh boy.
It's one of those things I didn't even if Avi had benefited from it, you would have asked me and I would have said I didn't like the idea, but I would be like, well, let's take it. You know, I mean, let's take the spot.
Right.
But especially since he was being damaged by it, it was particularly painful.
Yes.
Because it felt kind of unjust, even though they knew the rules in advance. Maurice.
Thank you again to Jack for that great question.
I gotta say, even if it was our guy, just personally, I think that fair play says playoffs. Come on, whoever decides the entire event on some tiebreak system, that's just completely ridiculous. Maybe when you're in the initial stage trying to get to the playoffs, trying to get to the finals, but the entire event based on tiebreaks, that's completely ridiculous. I think it was absolutely unfair, and I'm glad we're not.
Hi folks, John Cordisco here. Another game from round one of my favorite tournaments. Of course, being an American helps. The U.S. Chess Championship 2016. Great matchup here. Wesley So is white, originally from the Philippines, now playing for the United States. I do have to say, in this championship between Fabiano Caruana, Carl Nakamura, and Wesley So, there are 3 out of the top 10 playing the U.S. Championship. I think that is just freaking awesome. As white, Wesley So, originally from the Philippines, now playing for the States. Got a Kamsky, former World Championship challenger. He came within a hair's breadth of playing for the World Championship as black. Got to quit for a while and came back. Got a degree in medicine, I believe, and also a law degree. Pretty sharp guy. Anyway, let's get to it. It's going to be a closed relope. We'll go through the opening fairly quick because it's all book. We've seen this a million times, especially with the relope. Bishop, pawn. There goes a c3 pawn. To me, that makes it closed. Castles, pawn. You want that h3 pawn there. That pin here is kind of annoying. Bishop goes back. Believe it or not, this is all book, all of it. We'll just go through. Bishop c2. I'm going through this really quickly because it's all theory and book. If you want to stop the video, take a look at it, that's fine. Knight f1. Typical maneuvers where the knight jumps around here, trying to get up here. Knight f1. Bishop f8. And I was watching the video, and these guys were moving instantly. As soon as they were moving, the other guy moved and wrote it down. Then the other guy. It was like they're playing blitz almost, because it's all book. g6. Bishop g5. h6. Bishop comes back to d2. Bishop g7 and a4. Now, according to the computer, that's the last book move. All right, let's stop and take a look here. We went through this pretty quick. Tiny advantage for white. Typical relope structure with both the knights on this side making the journey from here. All the minor pieces are developed. Both sides are castled. Pretty typical stuff. Tiny advantage for white according to the computer, but I'll call it even. c6. Just keeping an eye on the d5 square. Even though it blocks in the bishop, it's not a big deal. A takes, rook takes, queen takes. Okay. Well, now, this is where I always have trouble in my games. I'm only a 1600 player rated USCF. How do you formulate a plan from here? That's always been my problem. Knight to h4 for Wesley So. And Gata goes queen to d8. Interesting might have been pawn takes, because after pawn takes, c5. Which is really the idea. Because if white pushes, this pawn is really backwards. And now black's got a pass pawn on this side. So queen to d8. Just leaving the tension. Queen to c1. King to h7. Knight. Now, let's take a look. Why does the knight go there? It's a sacrifice. Pure and simple. Now, look at all the pressure on the h6 pawn. And that king is pretty out in the open. Rook to e6. The bishop takes. Knight comes back to e8. Maybe knight to h5 has some consideration. After bishop to d2, king g8. And believe it or not, it's an even game. After knight to e8, bishop g5, hitting the queen. And this is where Kamsky, I think, miscues. Miscues a lot. Bishop f6. Seems like a very, very natural move. The bishop takes. Now, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Rook takes f6, queen goes to g5. Knight and d takes f6. Rook goes to g5. He takes with the queen. Unbelievable mistake from Gata. Unbelievable mistake. What he did was, he took away the squares for his rook. d5 is the next move. Even if pawn takes, it's just a shame too. It really is. It's just something that what are you going to do though? I mean, it's, when you look at this, you can look through it. Pawn takes, a bishop takes, knight goes to e3 check, and you lose the bishop. That's the end of the game. He goes rook to e7, and now for the devastating blow, the last blow, that really, really kills it. See if he can find it. Stop the video and see if he can find it, and give you an idea on the last move there. Instead of rook to e7, if he had taken, I'll just show you. Bishop takes knight. And it's over there. So after rook to e7, see if you can find the final blow. Pause the video. g4. Beautiful move. Beautiful move. The next move, of course, he's threatening. Pawn here. What's going to guard the rook? Nothing. That's the problem. Queen can't go here. Try to grab this pawn because the knight's guarding that spot. Queen can't come over here. You're doomed. Absolutely doomed. Even if he took with a pawn, you still go g5 and the game is over. Terrible blunder by Gata. I'm really surprised. I know he takes these things very seriously, especially the U.S. Championship. I believe he's won it over 5 times. There it is, folks. Even the best players miscue. So there's another game from round 1 of the U.S. Championship 2016. Tough break for Gata. We'll see if he can come back. It's tough when you lose like that in the first round. And as I always say, folks, if you think chess is just a game, You're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.